Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jon and Lee proudly present the greatest wrestling show ever!
Right, welcome to the first proper episode of the greatest wrestling show ever. We're not going to pretend that we've not seen each other because Lee's actually in the same room as me watching this show now, aren't you, Lee?
I am indeed.
And I saw you earlier today, so we're not going to say hello and pretend we've not seen each other. We're going to go straight into it. So if you want to watch along with this, we're watching now the SummerSlam 2017 kickoff show. And when I press play, it's going to be the start of the section on there that has the New Day versus Usos match. It's 1 hour, 19 minutes and 33 seconds in. So if you want to cue that up.
Maybe a tip on how we found it as well, because it wasn't that easy to find.
It wasn't that easy to find, was it? I went on the WWE app and I went to SummerSlam 2017, but the match actually isn't on the SummerSlam 2017 card. It's obviously on the kickoff show. I tried typing in kickoff, that didn't really do much. So in the end, I typed in Usos, New Day, and SummerSlam, and I think it came up straight away, didn't it?
Yes.
So if you want to watch this at the same time, feel free. If you just want to listen to our ramblings, that's also fine. But 1 hour, 19 minutes and 33 seconds into the whole kickoff show, and at the start of the chapter that is this particular match, we're going to press play now, and we're going to talk along as we watch the match. Some of the stuff will be related to what's going on in the match, some backstory, just some general nonsense, I'd have thought.
Yeah,
that sounds fairly safe. So 3, 2, 1, play. Here they go. They're coming out now. So I presume you know that the Usos are Rikishi's sons.
Yes.
Yeah. So if a fun fact for you, because I've got Wikipedia open in front of me, they were born on August the 22nd, 1985, and SummerSlam 2017 took place on August the 20th, so it's 2 days before their birthday.
Oh,
that's nice, isn't it?
They're actually older than I thought then.
So they're 31, about to turn 32 here. Now Rikishi must have been fairly young when he had them then, because Rikishi was around throughout the 90s, originally as Fatu, and then the Sultan, and then Rikishi Fatu, and then just Rikishi. So for his sons to have been born in, 1985, what would he have been born in?
So these were born then when...
They were born then, but he must have been, say, 30 odd then, which would make him roughly 20 when he had them. 20 odd, something like that. I bet I can find out on Wikipedia, to be honest.
Quick search,
you don't need to know anything anymore, do you? Well, not know anything. Not know anything. Right, it's just showing a backup history to this match. So we've got, I presume this was a match actually between New Day and the Usos on SmackDown Live.
The previous Tuesday. Yeah.
So one of the Usos, can you tell the difference between them? Because I can't.
No, Harry can.
Can he really?
Yeah.
Consistently, accurately.
And I enjoy winding Harry up by calling one of them Jeff.
He's the third one, isn't he? Right, Rikishi was born in 1965, so he'd been 19 when he had the twins.
You went too far off then.
Yeah, that's a good guess, that, wasn't it? Right, New Day are on the way out. Now, I can't actually remember which pairing of the New Days in this match, and when I say I can't remember, I've never actually seen this match before. So, for those that listened to episode 1, we originally intended to do the New Days versus the Usos Hell in a Cell match, but we ended up giving Hell in a Cell to the women's tag title match from Elimination Chamber, from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view last year, 2019, which meant we had to look for another one, and upon Googling, supposedly this is the best match they've ever had together. So
it was a kick-off match as well.
It is on the kick-off. Now there's potentially an element there of them wanting to prove a point. Maybe seeing as being relegated to the kick-off show. Want to go out and steal the show, maybe?
So they're the current...
They're defending SmackDown Tag Champions.
So facts for you then?
Go on then.
So the New Day, did you know, they're the only team that can say they've been WWE Tag Team Champions, Raw Tag Team Champions, and SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Okay. That is a fun fact, yeah. So presumably this is going to be Big E and Kofi defending, because they're the two of the titles. Big E is massive, isn't he?
He's huge.
Just look at the size of his legs there. You can't see his chest at the moment. He's got a big chest. But Kofi Kingston doesn't have a chest, which is weird.
He's got an incredibly weird chest.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? He's never had much of a chest, but then the last, 5 years, it's kind of disappeared. They've got quite a funky outfit on there as well. So they're wearing a burgundy, I don't know what you'd call that, like gladiator style chest pads. Centurion's probably more accurate. Big E's got some pretty funky, like a cape on. Xavier's got a trombone, which the trombone had a name, didn't it? What was it called?
Oh, crikey.
It's a green one. I don't know if that's the original one. I seem to remember he had an original one and it got destroyed by someone and they replaced it with a different one. So, wow, at that point, the New Day are 483 days into their title reign. Now, presumably this was their longest ever title reign, wasn't it? They overtook the record by Demolition.
So is that the record?
It's the record now. Yeah, previously Demolition had the longest tag title reign with a bit over a year, if I remember correctly. And I remember that New Day beat that record. I didn't particularly remember it was this reign, but Kofi just said something about 300 and something days. How do you reckon they select which of the 2 out of the 3 New Day members would take part in each match? Because they use the Freebird rule, don't they? Where any 2 out of the 3 wrestlers can defend the titles.
Yeah. Speaking of Demolition, when Crush joined Demolition.
Do you think they do like a soggy biscuit thing or something like that? There's got to be some sort of...
What, the loser gets in or the winner gets in?
I don't know. Well, it'd have to be the winner.
Do you reckon you've seen each variation of the 2? I feel like I always see Kofi.
So you've not seen Big E and
I don't remember I've
Xavier.
seen a fight with just Big E and Xavier.
Zach's Kofi is like the glue that holds the New Day together, do you think?
Possibly, but also obviously my New Day experience is a lot newer than yours, and Xavier's been out for a long time, hasn't he?
To be honest, the last 10 to 15 years, I haven't actually watched all that many matches all the way through. I generally skip through it.
It's a nice belt. You've got the Centurion thing on the belt.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Do you think that's a nice belt?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Really? So they just showed a graphic on the screen of the SmackDown tag team titles, which I don't really like. I think it looks a bit almost like a replica belt that like a kid would wear to a show. Well, you've just been made to look like an absolute fool, Lee, because this actually appears to be Big E and Xavier defending.
Good news for me.
Yeah. So if they lose the tag titles now, then that presumably strengthens your point that Kofi is the key member of the team. So, speaking of errors earlier that we put down this originally as a cell match and had to change it, we realised since last week that we made an error in including 2 Bret Hart and Steve Austin matches. We included the WrestleMania 13 submission match and also the main event from In Your House Canadian Stampede from later that year, in which they were both in. So we'll have to scrub the 10-man. Are we happy to get rid of the 10-man and keep the submission match? I think that's the better match.
Yeah, definitely.
Both good, but we're keeping the bigger match. And funnily enough, we potentially made an error, although I think we're happy with our choices, in that one of the members down at Rise, the gym, the facility that I own and that Lee comes to, has been listening to our podcast, and he said, when I saw him earlier today, he said, half an hour in and you've not mentioned Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon ladder match. Didn't even consider it, did we?
I'm sure I mentioned that.
Did you? Well,
I don't know, I'd have to. But yeah, he's right. If we didn't.
And that would have meant we'd had to have dropped our actual Shawn Michaels choice of Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker.
Well, I still do feel that we chose the right match.
I think you probably
on
right.
balance.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're all great matches, but Undertaker's a bigger star
than Razor Ramon. Is it fair to say Razor Ramon is one of, if not the biggest star never to hold a world title?
Well, the heavyweight title, you mean?
Yeah. Who else you got? You got maybe Ted DiBiase, someone like
Ted
that.
DiBiase
Mr. Perfect, maybe.
I mean, Ted DiBiase held it somewhat when he bought it from.
It's not the records; they don't count.
Yeah.
And Joe was strict of it. That's why his record.
That's what launched the tournament for WrestleMania 4, of course.
Exactly. So that's why his reign's something like 200 minutes long, because his reign is counted as from the second he kind of pinned Hogan to the point where he gave it to Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
And it's then vacant thereafter.
But yeah, I think DiBiase was definitely worthy of a world belt.
I'm
not too fussed about, to be honest. I think Intercontinental was about right for him.
They've been around in the modern era. They'd have probably got a run with one of the titles, you would assume.
Yeah, USA or...
Hang on, wait a minute, what's happened here? So, Xavier just came off the middle rope, got a punch from one of the Usos, and now it's gone into... Is this a network
Of
advert?
course, because it's a kick-off show, so you're going to get the ads.
Okay, so we've got some classic content there with The Rock, Undertaker, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan. It says every new and live pay-per-view event. I think it's great value, the network, especially when you don't pay for it, you don't. It's brilliant value, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Disney Plus.
I've got Lee's Disney Plus access a long time away,
Netflix,
yeah. And Netflix. To be fair, I've only used it about twice. But
no, network, WWE Network, especially when you consider what people pay to watch one pay-per-view event, you're normally talking about 25 quid
something like that.
to watch one. So what is it, 10 a month?
Yeah, I've only ever paid for one pay-per-view ever. That was WrestleMania 24 for the aforementioned Shawn Michaels Undertaker match.
Street, yeah. And you really
It's the only one that I was that bothered about watching. I know people that have the network and then cancel it and then set up again, like set up a new email address to get the free trial. And to me, for £10 a month, it's I can't be arsed.
Yeah.
Didn't seem worth it. If it was like 50 quid a month, you could kind of see it's worth the effort. But so I don't know if you've ever noticed this, Lee, but often before they go to an ad break or something similar, a rest hold is applied, or at least something happens where the action stops, and when you come back, they're in a rest hold.
Makes sense.
So obviously, just coincidentally, there, I think the cameraman was just ready. He saw that Xavier had come off the ropes, he'd gone down. They thought, right, we'll go to an ad break now. And then when it was time to come back, just a happy coincidence, he was in a chin lock. So Harry, so if anyone doesn't know, Harry is Lee's second son, third child overall. Harry can actually tell the difference in the Usos.
Well, he tells me he can. Obviously, I don't know if he's telling
Are you
me
having
or
it
not.
independently verified? Are you checking that it's right?
No. I'll just take your word for it.
He's probably lying to you. You got any more fun facts about? So just looking here at the Usos history, they appeared firstly in Florida Championship Wrestling, which was the predecessor to NXT as is now, in 2009. So they can't have spent very long there, because they're on the main roster by May the 25th, 2010. They made their debut as heels, attacking the unified WWE Tag Team Champions, the Hart Dynasty, Tyson Kidd, who was one of my mates, funnily enough, David Hart Smith, David Boy Smith, the British Bulldog's son, and Natalia. They didn't spend very long in developmental at all. 5-6 months, something like that. The Fatu brothers, as they were called then, began 2010 by defeating the Rotundo brothers, Duke and Bo. Do you know who they're better known as?
Duke and Bo.
Yeah, the Rotundo brothers. So Mike Rotundo, IRS's sons.
Go on.
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And Bo Dallas, if you've heard of him.
Bray Wyatt's called Wyndham, isn't he? Wyndham?
Yeah, that's it in real life, yeah, this is a gimmick name.
Oh, he wrestled under Mike.
Sometimes in wrestling they give people made up names.
No, I know, but Bray Wyatt I thought was his made up name, and I thought you're suggesting that Mike Rotundo was his real name.
So Mike is the dad, that's IRS.
Yes.
He's Wyndham Rotundo, who I presume is Duke Rotundo in this particular tag team that faced the Fatu brothers in January 2010, and I presume Bo is Bo Dallas. Because it's funny, when you actually look at their faces, you can tell that they're brothers, can't you? They look alike.
Yeah.
Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, but you wouldn't actually think it unless you had a proper look, would you?
No, and you wouldn't put them as IRS's sons either.
Yeah, probably not. Cool, so at the moment, if you're not watching, the Usos have got Xavier on the outside of the ring. He looks in trouble. Where's Big E? Where's he gone?
He's on the camera somewhere. He's on the deck, on the side somewhere.
So one of the things I potentially would get emotionally involved in is if there was some sort of push for Big E into the main event thing. I know he's doing a singles run at the moment. Something like Big E taking on Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania.
I remember you suggesting that last
would be
year.
exciting.
You worked out his path to WrestleMania, it never.
It didn't happen, did it?
No.
I was hoping for it this year. What I was really hoping would happen was I knew that Lesnar was facing Kofi for the SmackDown, for the world title basically on SmackDown, I think November of last year. And I was hoping that he'd give him a beating, which he did. He beat him in something like 10 seconds. But then slowly Big E would like turn towards Lesnar, like stepping up to him, something like that.
Nice.
Defending Kofi's from Lesnar, but it didn't happen, I'm afraid. Maybe next time. What do you think about Big E rolling down to the ring like a log? He's not doing it right now, obviously, but as a general thing. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Not for you. If you were Big E, how would you get from backstage to the ring? Hop?
I prefer a hop to a roll.
Forward roll? Would that be better than a
skip and a jump.
What about forward roll? Would that be preferable to a sideways roll?
Yeah. At least there's some kind of, skill required.
You should tweet him and say, look, Big E, if you're going to do a roll, try a forward roll. Or backward roll. Or mix them up. He could have a number of rolls in his repertoire and then decide each week which one he's going to use.
But obviously it might take away from the spectacle that is the pancake throwing.
Well, there is that, yeah.
Which came from a lumberjack match.
Did it really? Is that where it started?
Yeah, they were fighting... a lumberjack match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who were dressed as lumberjacks. No, sorry, the New Day were dressed as lumberjacks, and apparently lumberjacks eat pancakes.
Right, okay.
So they came out throwing pancakes. The crowd started chanting, "We want pancakes."
Right. And they just went straight, did it?
They asked Vince if they could keep it in, and he said, "Why the hell not?"
Did he say, why the hell not?
He said...
Did he say that's some good shit?
Hey, no, he said, yeah, it'd cool. No, he didn't. He was like, do you want it? And they said, yeah. And he said, yeah.
So actually just looking here at the background storylines running into SummerSlam, I think we must have made a mistake there about this being the New Day's record-breaking tag title reign, because it says at Battleground, the New Day defeated the Usos to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. On the following episode of SmackDown, as the New Day were about to make their entrance to celebrate their championship win, they were attacked by the Usos. So maybe they were just referencing their previous longest ever title reign.
Oh, so you're saying so in this match here they've only just taken them back?
Yeah, seemingly. A Battleground, which I'm guessing would have been maybe a month before. So the following week, the Usos proclaimed they would reclaim the titles from the New Day, and a rematch was scheduled for SummerSlam. So that sounds like only a few weeks between those shows. On the final SmackDown before SummerSlam, SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan confirmed that Usos would face Big E and Woods with Kingston in their corner. On August 16th, WWE confirmed that the match would take place at the SummerSlam kickoff pre-show. So making it onto the main show, you've got Big Cass and Enzo Amore at the expense of these guys. That's disappointing, isn't it?
Wow.
So Xavier's lifted Big E up into a shoulder ride and dropped him into a splash on one of the Usos.
So no spoiler alerts, because I can't spoil it because I don't know the result, but the Usos won the SmackDown Championship belts 3 times in this year.
Alright, okay.
On 3 separate occasions, obviously.
There's a lot into that. What are your thoughts on the frequency of title changes in modern wrestling?
I can understand why they do it. It still feels alien to me. You don't get long reigns. Obviously, I quite like the fact that Bayley's held their belt for so long.
You do get, it's a mixture, isn't it? You obviously get, it's not like it was in the hot potato, the period you missed, the Attitude era. I think 1999, the world title changed hands something like 15 times.
Wow.
Whereas a decade earlier, you had a year plus reign, potentially 4 years, Hogan's first reign. So I think it's calmed down a bit since those days.
Well, obviously, what I need to take into account, of course, is back in those days as well, is the majority of title changes would happen at the main events. Mm-hmm. And if there was only 4 of them, and they were going to save them, whereas obviously now we get 1 a month.
Yeah. So the total.
And of course, we saw a tag team title change live, didn't we, in Manchester last year, and New Day took the belts back.
We did. Who was that from?
Is that from... who was it now?
I forget now.
Where's Hyman meeting?
I presume he's at home, probably in bed.
Well, he'll just be finishing his reading, actually.
Oh.
It was the No Gimmicks, fellas.
No gimmicks?
No jumps, no gimmicks.
Oh, DIY? No, not DIY. The Revival.
Yeah, possibly.
The Revival. Could well have been, that sounds about right.
That was the opening match as well, wasn't it?
So Big E,
No.
it isn't. I think it might be. Yeah. Big E isn't just for show. Apparently, he's got something ridiculous like a 300-400 kilo squat and a similar sort of bench press or something like that.
Wow. He was quite short as well, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. Is he?
5'11".
That is tiny. Is that even like an actual height? Or did it, I thought this didn't count anything under 6 foot.
Under 6 foot, yeah. I think Kofi's the only New Day's over 6 foot.
Is Kofi over 6 foot?
6'1".
So interesting. Obviously, this match was set up by confirmed by Daniel Bryan, who then later feuded with Kofi over the world title at last year's WrestleMania. Kofi Mania, if you will. So we've just had spilled to the outside. Xavier just gave a baseball slide to Uso number 1. Uso number 2 comes running around and jumps off the barrier, takes him down. Big E is now on his own in the middle. He's getting all excited. Is Big E-ing up. Went for a tope. Got a super kick in the side of the head. That was a bit like hulking up, wasn't it? But Big E-ing up.
So yeah, just to confirm, Big E and Woods are both 5'11".
Okay.
Kofi is 6 foot.
Okay, we've got one Uso there, just dived onto Big E, the other one onto Xavier. That won't be it, yeah, no. I suppose this is the best match they've ever had. I presume it'll go a bit longer than this still.
Let's try and build a bit of tension.
So the New Day holds several records, including for the longest tag team championship reign in WWE history at 483 days. And most reigns as SmackDown tag team champions at 6 and overall 8-time tag team champions. They originally debuted on the 21st of July 2014 episode of Raw. So that's 6 years. That's a long time for a stable like that to be together, isn't it? Now, someone like the Usos, you can see potentially being together forever because they are very much a team. Although I believe one of them is actually facing Roman Reigns for the title the next pay-per-view. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Whereas the New Day, you wouldn't have.
Well, and Big E was taken out of the Fatal 4-Way match. He was attacked by Sheamus to be taken out of the Fatal 4-Way match so that Jimmy or Jay could get in to that match to win, to then face Roman. It was all apparently orchestrated by Roman, of course.
But yeah, so New Day has still been around 6 years later with no signs of dissension, no splitting up. Obviously, there's been occasional periods of some of them doing their own thing, but they've very much stayed together as a unit throughout that.
And are they really Roman Reigns' cousin?
Kind of, yeah. They're all family, so I don't think they're necessarily first cousins. So Roman Reigns' dad is one of the Wild Samoans. I think it's Afa. And then how's Rikishi related?
Yes, of course.
That? Let's have a look at that family tree. There might be like second cousins or something like that. It's close enough to count it, I'm sure. Right, here we go. I've got the I don't actually know how to pronounce it. I've never heard anyone say it out loud. The Anwar family tree. So we've got. Let me find them there. We've got all those people there wrestling. There we go. We've got Jimmy and Jay here, who are the sons of Solafa, which is Rikishi. Who I missed that. So they're okay. Umaga was their uncle. The Tonga Kid was their uncle.
The Rock's in there somewhere as well, isn't he?
The Rock, yeah, the Rock's. It's a bit slightly tenuous. They're I think it's a blood brother thing. So the Usos' grandfather, or possibly great-grandfather, is blood brother with Peter Maivia, who is the Rock's grandfather. So they're not actually related, not real blood relatives. So we got Yokozuna in there as well. So Yokozuna would be. Hang on, it's complicated, this, isn't it? So Yokozuna is first cousins with Rikishi, and Rikishi's children are obviously the Usos.
Yeah.
Who were we actually looking forward to see how they're related? Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. So where's he in this? I can't see where he is now. Yeah. He should be a layer below.
Is that all text? You can search it, yeah.
There he is. So he will be. So he's a generation above them. So they. Yeah. So it's whatever that makes them second cousins.
Yeah.
Is that right? So Roman Reigns would actually be cousins with Rikishi. His first cousins with Rikishi, second cousins with the Usos, because the second bit is a change in generation, isn't it? The removed bit is when it's by marriage, isn't it? Is that right?
Yes.
Is that how cousins work? Because size of Big E's massive, isn't he? Absolute beast. Let's go for the big ending on an Uso. Oh, he's got a super kick to the belly. It's disappointing.
So the Usos were the first tag team to hold the SmackDown and the Raw belts. To have won them both. Well, but just looking at this here, we were clearly never not that well respected. WrestleMania 28 to 33.
Yeah.
So that's 6 WrestleManias in a row. They were either not on the card at all or on the pre-show.
Oh, goodness me, that's it. Yeah. One of the Usos has pinned Big E. They did the old double splash off opposite corner posts. So it's quite difficult actually to rate that match because supposedly that's one of the best matches they ever had. And whilst I'm sure it was good, the fact that I was showing Wikipedia at the same time was a little bit off-putting. So
I'll watch the match properly when I listen back to this, I reckon.
In 2015, the New Day were named a Wrestler of the Year by Rolling Stone, Best Gimmick of the Year by Wrestling Observer Newsletter, the first trio to win PWI's award for Tag Team of the Year in 2015 and 16. So do you think they made a good choice there? So that is both the SmackDown Tag Team title match and it's now essentially been used as a kickoff match to the greatest wrestling show ever. Do you think we chose wisely?
I'm trying to remember why we got it in there. It was when we were trying to just find it.
I think
It must have been listed as one of the best SmackDown Tag Team matches ever.
I think we decided that Usos and New Day would be a good one for the SmackDown titles. We originally went for their
Hell in a Cell, but
it was Hell in a Cell, wasn't it? I said Chamber earlier.
Yeah.
Are we getting confused here? Have we got confused between Hell in a Cell and Elimination Chamber?
Possibly.
It's easily done, isn't it? That was a good match. Got the panel there, Jerry the King Lawler, David Atunga, married to, is it Jennifer Lawrence in real life? I think it is.
Really?
Yeah. And then some other people. Right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed our reading of Wikipedia and random facts. Have you got any more random facts from your list there, Lee? Yeah, no, and our family tree is quite substantial. Just looking at it now. There's a lot of people in there, isn't there?
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, within the wrestling world, of course.
Gary Albright married, wherever that is, second cousin. Got Manu. Oh, Manu. You haven't seen Manu, were you? So in around about 2009-10, there was a stable called Legacy, which was made up of second and third generation wrestlers. You had Ted DiBiase Jr., as was Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty Rhodes. You had Randy Orton, obviously the son of Cowboy Bob Orton. And then you had Manu, who was perhaps, shall we say, the weakest addition to that. Yeah. I'll have a Google, have a watch of it. Right, what are we doing for the next match, do you reckon, Lee? So we've had a tag title match. I'll tell you what, let me show you what I've done here. I've put them into Excel, and I've even added match durations at the end, so you can tell how long the total show is. So, overall, if we use the matches that we've picked, the show comes to 209 minutes, which is 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
That's alright.
Yeah, which is about right. That's excluding any sort of skits and setups in between.
And obviously I was talking now and stuff after that.
And one thing I did realise though is, another mistake we made, among our many, was we put down to have the match that included Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar to be a triple threat match that also included Big Show. But when I checked, that was for the whichever world title was on SmackDown at that point. We've already got both world title matches in. So at the moment, we're without Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar match. I had a look on cagematches.net, and the only matches we could potentially do that would include those two in the same match are Royal Rumble 2003, in which are a number of other wrestlers that appear elsewhere. Undertaker's in there, for example. I think Shawn Michaels.
You mean the actual Royal Rumble?
Yeah, but potentially, some Royal Rumbles have matches with people in, and they're also in the Rumble. or Survivor Series 2003, but that looked a bit crap, to be honest. So I think we're potentially looking either at Angle and Lesnar in but not facing each other, or leaving them out completely. What do you reckon? Could have a little bit of a thing between now and next week, perhaps.
If we're going to do that, because obviously we're trying to keep it as real to a real card as we can, then we need to get it in soon, so that whoever takes part in that Royal Rumble has got time to recuperate for their match later on in the evening.
That's a good point, yeah. Does add over an extra hour, though, onto the show.
Oh, wow.
Does that make it too much, do you think? We can maybe have a look and see what else we fit them in, but maybe for now we'll just make a decision on next week's match. So we've just had a tag title match. What's going to be the actual official show opener? So we could have something like Intercontinental title match, Steamboat Savage from WrestleMania 3, or Money in the Bank. Get your Ric Flair match in straight away, something like that. Rey Mysterio against Eddie Guerrero in a custody of Dominic ladder match from SummerSlam 2005.
Yeah, I'm thinking a non-title match.
Because we've just had a title match.
Yeah.
Do you want to go custody of Dominic ladder match?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you actually win a child in that match. You legally own said child.
I've not seen that match because I've seen we spoke about this last week. I've seen their match from
Halloween Havoc '97.
Yes. So if it's half as good as that match, then we're in for a treat.
It's probably half as good. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's not as good. I remember seeing it at the time, and it's all right. Yeah. It's worth having in to include Ray and Eddie in there, and Dominic, of course, current WWE superstar Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
I like the way that they picture it as though Mysterio is like the family surname, and he is just Dominic Mysterio.
That's right, yeah.
So he says in his birth certificate. Right, guys, that's what's going to be next week's. We hope you enjoyed listening today to our take on the Usos versus the New Day from the SummerSlam 2017 kickoff. Next week, SummerSlam 2005, Rey Mysterio against Eddie Guerrero. It's 20 minutes and 19 seconds long. It's a custody of Dominic ladder match, but we'll see you then.